Aminur Rehman is saying they are from Bangladesh. Okay, welcome. Welcome everyone. I'm feeling a little sad that you are traveling and we are still hassling on a Saturday evening to come and train our global participants. But it's such
No,
an
no, that is
interesting
not that.
experience as well.
Yeah. Exactly. My family knows that public health field is like that. At any go, you have to keep moving along with
You
your
have to be
work.
always ready and responsive. You can't give
Yeah.
excuses the way some of our
जो जल्दी
participants are
भी नहीं
giving
है
every.
मैं पछोड़ दूसरी चुदू so sorry.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay. Yeah. So meet our speaker. You have already seen her, but okay, all of you please join as soon as possible. It's going to be 7 o'clock in 2 minutes. Okay, Iboyu Jup is saying from Gambia. Okay, great. Welcome. Baba Boya is saying good afternoon all. My name is Baba Boya from Benin, West Africa. Excellent. And then we have Udbhav Sharma. Okay, hi Udbhav beta. Good afternoon everyone. Udbhav Sharma from Group 15 co-lead. Okay, welcome. Cyrus Kagabo from good afternoon everyone from Botswana. Okay, welcome. Jasank is saying good evening everyone. Good evening. And Abdul Kadir Usman Sambo from Nigeria is saying good afternoon. Okay, good afternoon. Arga De is saying good afternoon. Okay. Greetings all. Sepho from Shani, South Africa. Okay, Sepho, welcome. And Dr. Bibila is saying good evening from India. Good evening. Mehul Kumar Dabe, Dr. Mehul Kumar is saying good evening to all. And DL is saying hello. Okay, hello. Okay, excellent. Martula Haruna Baba is saying hello everyone. Murtala Haruna Baba from Abuja, Nigeria. Okay, hi Murtala, welcome. And Dr. Meena Kumari is saying hi. And I think I have read everyone else's messages. And there is something written in Bengali which I can't read. He's saying good evening. Carlon is saying continue. Okay, I think I have read it. Oh, there are 11 more messages. My God, it's increasing. Okay, I can't read so many. Pranav is saying good evening, sir. Ma'am, Pranav Patil this side. Okay, Pranav, welcome. Sikhani is saying where is okay. Good afternoon, South Africa. Okay, good afternoon. And then okay, my God, the messages are increasing and they're just flowing. Okay, Tuli Roy is saying group number 6 co-lead. Okay, Tuli, welcome. Adebayo Salmi Mini Joy saying good afternoon from Nigeria. Suti Jabai saying good evening everyone from India. And Rajan Saha is saying good evening respected sir ma'am. Okay, good evening. Mahmuda Binte Aziz is saying hello sir, greetings from Seoul. Okay, greetings. And Virat Raja Pradhan. Okay, hello Virat Raja saying good evening. Okay, good evening. Madhavika to good evening sir. Okay, good evening. Okay, welcome. Dr. Leelavati is saying good evening to all. Okay, right now it's 7 o'clock. So it is my responsibility to start the process without wasting any further time. Can you hear me?
Yes, now you're audible. You were not audible. Now you're audible.
Okay.
Okay, shall we start, ma'am?
Yeah.
Okay. So, good evening, everyone. A very warm welcome to our session, advanced training session on advances in the scientific literature review and research, organized on behalf of our advanced uh, certification program on strategic research collaboration and communication for emerging researchers, and the international workshop series that is jointly organized by the Bangladesh Institute of Innovative Health Research and the Global Consortium of Global Health actors, leaders, and thinkers. We are honored to bring you our esteemed speaker, Dr. Parimala Mohanty. from All India Institute of Medical Science, Bhubaneswar, India. Uh, in our today's session, we will learn about almost more than 30 types of literature review techniques that our participants of a Global Advanced Certification Program will apply into their research projects. Also, our other participants from all over the world can learn these techniques and use these techniques into their action. So I will ask our moderator of this session, Professor Maheshwar Satpathy, a globally respected academic leader and the founder and CEO of Global Alt, who will moderate our today's session along with Dr. Parimala Mohanty. I will ask him to introduce our speaker a bit more and start the session. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Apologies. I was disconnected for a second. So don't mind for that. Let me just please start the process. Okay. Just okay. Now I'm able to go to the bio of Dr. Parimala. It's such an exhaustive bio that I have to actually look at it properly and read it verbatim. Okay. Welcome, Dr. Parimala. We are very happy and pleased to have you. Okay. So Dr. Parimala Mohanty is a public health researcher. She is currently serving as a senior research officer in the Indian Primary Healthcare Support Initiative IPSI project at AIIMS Bhubaneswar, All India Institute of Medical Sciences Bhubaneswar, one of the prestigious medical institutions in India. She previously worked as a project manager, that is at a postdoctoral level, as a postdoctoral fellow at the School of Health Sciences and Technology, Indian Institute of Technology, Guwahati. So she is having the distinguished honor of working at both IIT as well as AIIMS, okay, which I also hold the distinct honor of working at both the institutions, but at other IITs and other AIIMS, in a One Health project to eradicate dog-mediated rabies in India. Okay, this is a very specific issue. Many people have not even heard of it. They don't take interest, but this is something which is actually an actual matter of concern, and she has lots of good experience working on this. So she has tried to work on this project for past 2 years. Her experience includes data analysis, scholarly article publication, and grant writing, with active involvement in surveys, workshops, and enumeration on free roaming dogs in rabies endemic regions. Okay, so that is probably one of the reasons why we have invited today Dr. Parimala Mohanty to speak to you all about how to do advanced literature reviews. Okay, so she holds a PhD in community medicine. Okay, she has received prestigious awards, PhD in community medicine from Shiksha and Anusandhan University, Bhubaneswar, one of the top universities as per the NIRF rank in India. She has received prestigious awards, including recognition at the CUGH conference in New York. She has also contributed as a consultant for ICAM, also as WHO CRO consultant, analyzing COVID-19 data and generating weekly reports during COVID. With proficiency in R, STATA, and SPSS, she specializes in scoping and systematic reviews, as well as in quantitative research. She has more than 15 publications, around 200 citations, and an H index of 8 and an I-10 index of 7, showcasing her impactful contributions to global public health research. Beyond academia, she is an active peer reviewer for journals such as the International Journal of Equity in Health, PLOS Global Public Health, which is a very top quality journal, and Journal of Social Economic Development. She is a passionate writer, traveler, and artist. She combines research excellence with public health advocacy, making significant contributions to both academia and society. So with this very small and brief introduction of Dr. Parimala Mohanty, I welcome and once again, and I request Dr. Parimala Mohanty to please take over and conduct the training that we have been all very patiently and very eagerly awaiting for more than 15 days. Okay, so over to you, Dr. Parimala. I know as a cluster leader, your group members from cluster number 2 are very, very excited to have you on board. And they are all sharing their enthusiasm in the chat messages, which I'm sure you will be able to read it at a later time. And I cannot be more excited to hear your talk. So over to you. Please start your presentation.
Yeah.
The
Thank you
structure
so
of the
much.
presentation is the structure of the presentation is going to be an engaging discussion in the form of the whole training. In between, we'll take a break about 5 to 7 minutes, during which we can read out the questions from the question and answer. Participants, please feel free to ask your questions in the question and answer, not in the chat. Chat will be disabled now, okay, so that the training can be conducted smoothly without any disturbance. Please put your questions, only relevant question. Please limit it to relevant question. Do not ask about the feedback form. The feedback form will be shared at the end, okay, end of the training program. So do not put those questions like when will it be shared. It will be shared at the end. And please put relevant questions, important question. No question is silly, so please ask anything that you want to ask Dr. Parimala, but do not ask about feedback link. Other than that, you can ask anything, okay. So please, now we start our training program, and we are all set. Thank you, Dr. Parimala. The stage is all yours.
Thank you so much for the elaborate introduction, and a very good evening to all the participants. Thank you to the organizer for giving me the opportunity to be here and present the topic. I will try my best to share whatever I know, and anywhere I feel I will ask Professor Maheshwar to jump in to help us clarify things. And to start with, I'll be sharing the presentation right now. And then this is absolutely, as said by Professor Maheshwar, this is a very interactive session. It's not like a traditional lecture mode. So whatever you feel, anything where you need clarification, please stop me. We can stay there and we can have more discussion on it, and then we can move ahead. So today's topic is...
And
yeah, please.
I just want to say something. If you want to raise questions and ask questions directly to our speaker, you may raise hand and we'll look at it and we'll give it a chance. Okay? Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, please continue.
Thank you. So, advances in the scientific literature review and research. So today we are going to deep dive into this topic and have further discussion. So what is the need for a scientific literature review and research? It establishes a foundation for existing knowledge to report scientific findings, identifies research gap, supports evidence-based decision-making and policy formulation, enhances academic writing and conceptual clarity, guides methodological approach and data interpretation. So the objective of the session would be, like, we will be discussing about the evolution of scientific research, understand various scientific review types, how do a scientific literature review is conducted, that we will go step by step. Then the commonly done reviews and its differences, because when I will be talking about different review types, there are around 30 types of different reviews, but most in practice there are few, and that we can go in depth. And then we will be talking about ethics in research, authorship and conflicts. So basically we will start about a different type of research to we will end in authorship and how not to have conflicts. Yeah. Evolution of scientific research, basically from descriptive to evidence-based research is what now we have shifted to mostly. Rise of interdisciplinary study is something that has been more focused in today's world. Open access and digital repository are nowadays available. Initially, people used to, for a scientific research, they used to go to library, do manual search, and it was a very tedious process. However, things has become a lot easy for us. Then technology enhanced research, like use of artificial intelligence, automations. This has made the area of scientific research more easy as well as challenging. So we have to consider all this as we move ahead in this technologically enhanced world. So coming deep from descriptive to evidence-based, shifting from narrative observational study to structured, more hypothesis-driven methodology is something more acceptable. Now, of course, observational study has a narrative reviews has its own importance. Then emphasis on replicability, transparency, and scientific rigor is something very much required. Then role of systematic review, meta-analysis, randomized controlled trial have increased. when we compare different type of review, we can understand the hierarchy of the reviews as well. Then rise of interdisciplinary study, integration of disciplines like One Health, public health, ecology has emerged. Initially, people used to be focused into one domain. However, in today's world, the collaboration and interdisciplinary research is more acceptable. Then complex problem solving through multi-sectoral approach, and funding and institutions promoting convergence research is something in evolution and in progress. Then open access and digital repositories, democratization of knowledge through open access journals, use of institutional and global repositories like PubMed Central, Google Scholar, preprints and collaborative platforms increase visibility. So there are different platforms which has really made researcher having literature and documents in just a click. And coming to technology enhanced research, AI for literature review, data mining, manuscript generation. So there are several AI platforms like Research Rabbit, Elicit, Jenny AI, Research Pal. So they can be used and can be helpful for doing quick literature review. Then systematic review tools are available. Initially, people used to do it manually, which is very time consuming. Now you have Covidence, Ryan, which makes it more systematic for a systematic review. Then data science, machine learning, transforming data analysis and modeling. So things are moving very fast in the area of research. So let's ponder, can the research be carried out by you? So this is something that every researcher needs to think. There are certain requirements. So what are the main requirements? Do you have a scientific expertise? Most of the main point regarding scientific expertise would be having knowledge regarding the scientificity of conducting a research. Then what are the available facilities, resource? Do you have a lab? Do you have a computing system? Or what type of research you are going to conduct? Then what is the time frame that you have? Make a Gantt chart. A research needs to be feasible. So what are the feasibility of the conduct of your research? That is the important aspect. Then group project, collaboration through networks. So is it an individual project or you need a group? There needs to have collaboration who can contribute to your research. That needs to be established. Then multidisciplinary team, collaborative approach, management and end goals. So you have to have an idea what is the end product of your research. Then financing, increasing the driving force. So every research needs a fund. So if you have a sufficient fund, then that can be a driving force. Nevertheless, no research can be just funding should not be hindrance. You can start very small with very little of funding. However, that can be a big driving force. So now the question arises, where do I start? So you need to have a research idea. You have to see whether it is novel, it has originality. Then you have to see how big or small you want to conduct the whole research. You have to check on the literature, discuss with colleague and peers. So in research, peers hold a very great position where they can give you suggestion, ideas, whether your thoughts and your research idea has impact or not. So your peers can do that. Then reference the database from different data bases like Web of Science, Science Direct, PubMed, Google Scholar, InfoSec, journals, etc. So let's come when you have all this prefix, like how to do, you have an inclination for doing a research and you already have in mind to start your research with a novel research idea. Then you have to look into literature. So in order to look into literature, we will first look into what are the various type of reviews that exist. so that we can have a very in-depth literature review that can be translated into some sort of specific review type. Broadly, research can be divided into systematic and structured reviews, narrative and conceptual reviews, emerging and hybrid types, specialized reviews by purpose. So let's talk about all this bit in depth. But among this, around 30 type of reviews, we mostly use narrative, scoping, and systematic review. So that we will be talking in more of depth. But for now, we will be discussing on the 30 review types. Coming to the systematic and structured reviews. Systematic reviews are comprehensive, structured review following a predefined protocol. So you have a very predefined protocol for doing a systematic review. Meta-analysis, it is a statistical technique for combining quantitative study results. So in this, you quantify the results that is extracted during your systematic review. Meta-synthesis, it aggregates and interprets qualitative findings. So here the qualitative findings can be aggregated. Rapid review, condensed systematic review for timely decision making. Then scoping review, this maps the existing literature on a broader topic. So coming into some various other forms of systematic and structured review, they are umbrella review. It summarizes evidence from multiple systematic reviews. So when you have a review of several systematic review, it can be called as an umbrella review. Then mixed method review combines qualitative and quantitative studies. Realistic review explores how and why intervention works or not works, in what context it works. Then integrative review synthesizes diverse methodologies like quantitative and qualitative. Then overview of review describes and compares several reviews on a topic. Coming to narrative and conceptual reviews, in narrative reviews, it mostly summarizes the literature without a systematic selection or systematic approach. Traditional literature review offers a background or historical context. It need not be in a very systematic way. You just have a quick search, you get to know the background. So that is like a traditional literature review. Then critical review evaluates and interprets literature critically, not just descriptively. Then coming to conceptual review, focuses on concepts, definition, and theoretical development. State of the art review, latest development and trends in a field can be reviewed in such type of review. Thematic review, it organizes findings around central themes or categories. Then coming to specialized review by purpose, that we conduct for particular purpose. They are policy reviews. It assesses the literature and documents related to policy issues. Methodological reviews, it focuses on research methods used in studies. Technical reviews, it evaluates technology, procedures, or devices. Then jurisprudential reviews, reviews legal literature and frameworks. Then there are several other interdisciplinary and contextual reviews that can come under this heading. Then other type of reviews which are very specialized are environmental scan, surveys of literatures, stakeholder policies to understand an issue. Then evidence map, visually presents the distribution of evidence, like bibliometric analysis, lit maps. So such type of evidence-based maps, they can capture specialized review. And coming to scoping meta review, a scoping review of systematic or meta-analysis, that is called, like you are just doing a mapping of systematic or meta-analysis, that is scoping meta review. Then qualitative systematic review, synthesizing qualitative evidence methodologically. Ethnographic review, reviews studies using ethnographic methodologies. Then coming to broader topic of emerging and hybrid types. These are Bayesian review, applies Bayesian statistical methods to evidence synthesis. Living systematic review, continuously updated systematic review as new evidence emerge. Network meta-analysis, compares multiple intervention in one model. Practice review integrates practitioner-based evidence with academic research. Review of frameworks identifies and compares the theoretical or conceptual frameworks. So when we have discussed about the 30 different type of review, they are very, specialized according to your objective, your research question. But if we broadly divide, we can just say it as narrative or comprehensive review, and we can say it as systematic meta-analysis and scoping review. And then if it is very, individualization, then we can go into in-depth of a particular type of review and do it accordingly. So,
Dr. Parimala, we can take 2 minutes break to ask our participants about whether they have actually heard these reviews as first of all or not. How many have heard of it and how many have done it? Okay, so please put in your chat. In the chat is not open, but if you are able to put it in the question, okay, then you can also put that, or you can also raise your hand to show us. Okay, how many of you have done a meta-analysis or meta-narrative synthesis or something of that sort, Let's see. How many, raise your hand if you have ever done a meta-narrative synthesis. Okay, only one. Out of 228, 31, only one. Achha, that's so sad.
Yeah, that is the point that I just explained them. There are so many different variety of reviews, but you don't need to be panic at this moment. Broadly, then we just divide it into 3 areas: scoping review, narrative review, and systematic review. And then we go very slowly where we start just doing basic of literature review, that I will demonstrate here in live how to do that. So that will be helpful. You just have to start very slow, and as if it is a very individualistic research question where you need to do some policy analysis type of review or something, then you just become very specific to a particular type of in-depth review. You need not look into the 30 types of review and get panic like how many reviews are there. So we can
Yes, and if you want any help in terms of like your research question, you have a particular research question which has been already defined and ready to say, and you want help of Dr. Parimala in terms of using your research methodology, maybe you can ask that question in the question and answer, and we'll pick it up and we'll ask to Dr. Parimala in the meantime. And please take in the next 2 minutes to write your question. If you have already a research question ready, then it will be great to help you with the research method on the spot itself. Do it. Yeah, Dr. Parimala. Hello. Hello. Can the participants hear me? Faisal, are you there?
Yes, sir. I am.
Okay. So you are able to hear me, right? And where is Dr. Parimala? I can't see her. Has she lost her connection? Okay, participants, just remain patient. Okay. Let our panelists join back. Okay, please remain patient in the meantime. Okay. Faisal, are you able to hear me? All right. Is it all okay?
Yeah, you are audible clearly.
Somebody is calling me. Don't raise your hands. If you have any concerns, just raise your hand and we'll allow. Who is raising hand, by the way? Chandan Soni, what do you want to say, Chandan? The training is going on, and Dr. Parimala has lost the internet connection, and she's coming.
Yeah. Actually, here it is raining very badly, and because of that, there is some connectivity issue, and I got lost. I was really worried. So sorry.
No problem. It's a part and parcel of our living in LMICs. People have to be more patient. We all need to be more patient and more empathetic towards each other. Okay, Dr. Parimala, please continue.
Yeah.
So if you have a research question,
I'll
please put
reshare
it in the question and answer, and we'll raise it. Okay, to Dr. Parimala later. Okay. Yeah. Please continue.
So now, can I get back to share my screen so that I just move ahead with my presentation? Yeah. Is my screen? Hello, am I audible and my screen visible?
Yes, your screen is visible and you're perfectly audible. Yes, please continue.
Yeah, thank you so much. So now let's understand how to do a scientific literature review. First step is we have to define the research question. We have to be very specific. We have to use a PICO format framework. So what exactly the PICO format framework is? It is patient, problem. Like we have to look into what is the problem. Our research should have a pertinent, important problem, intervention, comparative, and outcome. So the research questions would be very specific. And then we have to develop a protocol. We have to have an outline, inclusion, exclusion criteria. We have to fix what database we are going to look into. Then we have to find out the keywords. And then we have to analyze the method. Step searching. Break down the search question into concepts. Understanding mesh terms and gather. Conducting advanced search in PubMed. Search concepts in separate database. Then combine the concept. Then filter result. So these are the steps for doing the whole thing. You have a question. You go into understand the other keyword, conduct advanced search in PubMed and other specific databases. Then combine the concepts, filter results. So let's go ahead with an example. Track the search strategy for reproducibility so that whole of our search strategy can be reproduced, whoever does that. This is a systematic review that I got to do in collaboration with a Malaysian team when I was doing my PhD. And so I would like to take that as an example. So the topic is diet quality and measures of sarcopenia in developing economics, a systematic review. So break apart the search title into main concept. The two main concepts here are diet quality and sarcopenia. So we have to, what is the next step? We have to gather keywords. The concept have many synonyms, which needs like a comprehensive search, because sarcopenia has also synonyms and diet quality also has synonyms. So we have to look for other synonyms so that our search is comprehensive. So how to look for synonyms and mesh terms? Mesh is medical subject headings. So we can go to PubMed and we can look into mesh. And when we look into the mesh terms for diet quality, we find diet therapy, dietary modification, then diet modification, diet therapy. So you will get such synonyms. You can also use other platform like Google Scholar, then other platform to look into. Maybe you can go into a very particular paper and see what all keywords are similar to this as well. So these are few ways to find out your mesh terms. Then database search techniques. There are certain techniques like turnication, searches variation on a word stem. Like if you put a asterisk to nutri, so you will have several similar words that will be captured during your search. Like if there is an asterisk with the nutri, then you will get nutrition, nutrient, nutritional, nutrients, nutritive. Then if quotation that keeps together and in order, if there is a word that has two words, so it may be captured like two different words. So if you are putting a quotation mark, so they will show you different results. Then parenthesis allows you to combine concepts. when you want to combine two concepts and you add parenthesis, so you can capture two concepts at one go. Then the most important thing of a database search technique is use of Boolean operators. They are and or not. They are written in capital letters, and this really helps us to uh, do our search efficiently. In case where we use and, it narrows your search. Use with separate topic. Like if you have two topic, diet quality and sarcopenia. So when you use and, it will give you a search finding of both for diet quality and sarcopenia. If you use or, it broadens your search. Use with synonyms like, for example, child or pediatric or infant or adolescence. So it will broaden your search. It will increase similar synonymous mesh terms and can be used for widening your search. Then not is something I would always say you should use it with caution. It really narrows your search. Used to remove terms from search, like basically it will reduce your search, like diet quality, not food. So it will remove, it will just give me papers on diet quality and will eliminate all food related searches. So not should be used carefully because it really reduces your search. Strings. The way you saw the Boolean operators, that can be used to frame your search strings. The particular example that I showed you, diet quality, it has several synonyms like diet quality index, healthy eating index, food variety, food diversity, diet diversity score. So it can be all included with a or. Then our second concept was sarcopenia. So with sarcopenia, we can use sarcopenia, muscular atrophy, muscle fatigue, muscle strength, muscle mass, physical performance. So these can be alternative key terms. Then once we have both of the key terms, then we can
Parimala,
club it up.
can you turn off your video so that your you know
Clarity can be better. Just a moment. I think now it will be better. Am I audible and visible? Is it better now? Hello?
Yeah, ma'am. You're audible.
Yeah.
Parimala, can you please turn off your video so that your audio
Yeah.
improves?
Yeah, just.
Okay, apologies to the participants. We are all based in lower middle income countries, so we face all these issues, and obviously nobody has a control over the nature induced issues. Okay, so please remain patient and we shall continue the training program as usual. Thank you for your cooperation and understanding. Yeah, Dr. Parimala, please.
Yeah. So after you have your concepts, like two concepts, diet quality and sarcopenia, you use similar synonyms and use Boolean operators as or to find out as many publication as you get. Then you merge both of them using and, so that both of the concept can be included in one search criteria. So that's how a search string is created. So now let's go. I just captured one, diet quality and sarcopenia, and I found 483 results. You can see in the yellow box. Now let's run this search in PubMed. So that will really give you an idea how exactly in PubMed the search is conducted. So this is PubMed. Similarly, you can do it in Google Scholar, other platforms as well. So I'll take the same example and let's take this. There are several mesh terms. I just want to go back. This is PubMed base page. Then you have to go into advanced search. Once you are into advanced search, there are several fields, like these are mess terms, these are authors, all fields. Based on authors you can do your screening, based on publication dates you can do, based on editors, then based on mess subheadings. So this way, title screening, title abstract screening. So whatever term you put in the search, you can based on this you can have your search finding. So let us put our first concept, that is diet quality, and I have separated it with or. So we have diet quality index, healthy eating index, and then what we do, we search, and I'm going with all fields. We can see what happens if we do different fields. So when we do all fields, the results are 1,78,620 results. And another thing that I would like to mention here, you can customize your filters. Like from, if I want to do last 10 years, because very old papers may not be relevant. So I may look into last 10 years. So I can custom my range, or maybe take a, there is a class interval of 5 years. I may take 5 years or 10 years, whatever is suitable. So I go ahead with 10 years. So you see my search results have reduced from 1,70,000 something to 1,13,000. Then you can similar way look for full text. Then you can look for just systematic reviews. And there are also additional filters. If you just want to add English papers, you can mark English, so other language will be removed. If you just want to look into human aspect, then you can add human. If other animals, then you can mark other animals. Gender segregated review you can do. Then age specific, like which group, if you want to look into that, you can do. So these are some advanced filtering criteria. So now you got this many papers. So I moved back to our main page. So here there is a history. You get your syntax. I got my first syntax. First syntax is diet quality, or diet quality index, or healthy eating index, or food variety, or dietary diversity, or diet diversity score. So these all are synonyms that I have picked up, and I have separated using Boolean operators or. So I got my first syntax. Then I applied a filter. Filter is in last 10 years. So that also was recorded here. So coming to my second concept. My second concept in my research question was sarcopenia. So sarcopenia is a muscle strength related issue that occurs to older men mostly. It is a pathological condition. So then we go to the second concept. When we search for the second concept using sarcopenia, muscular atrophy, muscle fatigue, muscle strength, so we get around 3,79,059 results. Similarly, we can also make a 10 years filter for this, and we reduce to 2,10,000. So we look into 10 years papers. Now what we have, two of the concept with us. One of the concept is diet quality, the other is sarcopenia. Now we have to include both of this concept to one search string, so that we can have a cumulative search. So you can, here you can have option add query, delete, create, alert. So whatever paper related to your search is there, in detail you can also get papers related to this. So in the third step, what we are going to do, we are going to merge both of it. we are going to, maybe I'll take another way. You can use this, and here you can use it with a and the second concept is sarcopenia. So you put your second concept and use and. Now you see the first concept is diet quality and the second concept is sarcopenia. So both of the concept is I'm using it using Boolean operator and in a capital letter and then I do my search. Okay, it's asking me to clear all. Just give me a minute. So you have to do a trial and error with your search strategy and your syntax. So maybe that I use the filter prior to this that was somehow making things difficult. Okay, now I again take my first and I use and then my second concept is sarcopenia. So now when I have included both of the concept, now I have a total number of 3,74,029 results. So this captures both of the concept for me. Now I can do a 10 years filter. Now it reduced to 2,55,000. Then further, I can just look into all the papers that are in English. So it reduces further. So you can use filters according to your research question. So let's go back to our presentation. So basically using PubMed, you can do your search using Boolean operators and you can directly also put it here and you can do your search.
Okay, Parimala.
Yeah.
Can we take a few questions now since
half of the time is
sure. Okay. We'll have a dedicated question answer at the end also, but I just want to use 5 minutes just so that everyone gets a break and also we get to you can turn on your video now, not an issue. Okay, so there are many questions actually for you. Okay, right. One person asked, what has research contributed to your life? Anonymous attendee. I start with that.
What a wonderful question. Completely out of the context. Yeah, research is something that really keeps you young. That would be my answer. Yeah, very vague reply, but research means novelty, looking ahead into new things, newness. So when you are into the field of research, you keep on your toes into any domain and you look into what is coming in, what you can contribute, and that overall shapes your personal life, your professional life, and you contribute to a larger society where you can add on to whatever field you belong to. You believe that you have few contribution to the world to give in. So that is something research really gives you, and you are always in a quench to learn. It is everyday learning process. Literature review, as I shared, is not a one day, it is an iterative process. You do it daily till the end of your journey. So that's what research means. Yeah.
Okay, the next question for you is from Dr. Noreen Nusrat Novas. He asked, can you please explain what a Gantt chart is? Gannt, Gantt chart.
Okay. Thank you so much for the question. Gantt chart is when you are starting your research, you always have to fix a timeline. So it is a very simple. There can be from a simple to very different complex variety of Gantt chart. But to talk of a very simple variety, you just have an Excel sheet and you put in all your activities for a research, the steps that you're going to do. So you break down your steps one by one. You put in different timelines to your activities and put a color. Okay, the colors are for your own, visual appreciation, and then you can have an understanding that okay, I'll be doing my literature review for 6 months, then I'll be doing my initial first draft writing of introduction for 2 months, I'll do my question piloting research, whatever, for another 8 months, then I will be doing data analysis for 4 months, and then finally I'll jot down all my result and I'll be putting it as a report, manuscript, whatever. So that is basically a Gantt chart, and it can be from a very simple to very complex. And today we have many online platforms which has Gantt chart options as well. Yeah.
Definitely. Okay, and then Kanvi asked, is meta-analysis also a review type?
Thank you, Tanvi, for the question. Meta-analysis is basically the analytical part of a systematic review. When you do a review in a very systematic manner, which can be replicated later, you have your corpus. Then when you quantify it, you take, like you have prevalence of 10 papers, like diabetes prevalence is 5%, 10%, 12%, 18%. Then you accumulate it as a cumulative pooled prevalence from out of the 10 papers. So that is basically the meta-analysis, where you are quantifying the findings of the several papers into one finding. So that is known as meta-analysis.
Yeah. Okay. Somebody named Tahira711 is asking, Appu, can you tell us a bit about narrative policy review?
They want to know about narrative policy. Yeah. So narrative policy, as I said, you don't have to panic by looking into the 30 reviews that I just shared. I have also read it just before the presentation, to be honest. And when you are doing a narrative policy review, you have to look into anything which is narrative, means till date, whatever literature is there, or you fix a time frame that latest 10 years, I'm looking to 10 years. Someone will not go back to 15 years back review paper to have the current understanding. So if you are doing a current narrative policy review, I can go to your paper and have an understanding what has happened within the time frame of the 10 years, what all policies do exist from your review. So your review should be comprehensive, which should include all the policy that has happened within the 5 years time frame, or 10 years time frame, whatever you fix during your inclusion criteria. And you jot down all the papers, you thematically analyze those policies, you can put into homogeneous or heterogeneous groups, and then club it up as a whole policy review note, which can be helpful for the policymakers, anyone who is of interest in that area. Yeah, thank you.
So I'll ask 3 more questions and I'll give you 1 minute break. After that, you can resume your training program again.
Yeah,
Sajjad Hossain is asking, my research topic, personalized medicine. Which literature review is suitable for me?
Personalized medicine. See, as I said, research is a very broad area, having different domains, areas. So personalized medicine is kind of domain which your interest lies. So first step for any domain that you are looking for, you have to go just type the topic in Google. Have a basic understanding about your own topic, what my topic is, what it has to say, whatever is the first, maybe paper that comes in your search. Why a paper comes first? Because it has been cited several times, or it has more readability. For whatever reason, and most popular reason, it is on the top. So go and read that paper. You will have an idea about your topic, precision medicine. Look at the keywords, what they have used. Use different platforms. In my coming presentation, I'll be talking about other platforms as well. Well, like now I just discussed PubMed, which is more frequently used by medical fraternity, but Google Scholar and there are several other databases which are being used by other domain specific area. So you can look and use such search strings, like what your concept is, precision medicine for now. So you just look into different synonyms, mesh terms, keywords, and use Boolean operators to, you have to do permutation and combination. You never know what is the final thing until you are at the final stage. So the process is iterative. You have to keep on trying different uh, option, like what all are coming. And then according to the relevant search string, you will get a list of literature that you can utilize for your further, research extraction, which I will be discussing shortly.
The last question before you resume your program. Have some water, Parimala. I'm also having them because you're going to teach them for a long time now. So Bandana is asking, hearing this for the first time, thank you so much for introducing this to me. So where can we learn the framework of structure for these type of reviews?
Basically, there are several platforms like Udemy, then Coursera and Harvard, and many platforms who are giving paid, free learning materials first. Second, you can just type in Google, look into YouTube videos and check. Third, there are books as well. You all are tech savvy, so I gave you this option first, but you can always also refer books and a lot of online platforms where you can just type in, ask ChatGPT is there. You just tell in 30 days, teach me. You will get some idea. Then I will always highlight that however you read somewhere until you do it with some mentorship, some guidance somewhere. As I showed the paper, it was during my doctoral study when I got introduced to emulsion training. They were wonderful. So I learned from them. It was like a hand holding. I didn't read somewhere, but it was so basic. We did it manually in Excel sheet, how to, cross check. So when you do, you learn. So that is my take on this.
Exactly, correct. When we, I was telling the same thing to group number 6 yesterday, that when we do things manually, we have the perfect amount of self-regulation and mastery over the concept, which you cannot have ever if you just become blindly dependent on a software or any AI based tool. Okay, the last question, because this is important to ask at this time. Anonymous attendee asking, what is the ideal time frame for literature search for systematic review and meta-analysis?
Ideal time frame. Okay, thank you for the wonderful question. Systematic review and meta-analysis.
Yes, sir.
See, mostly systematic review has a very in-depth, precise research question. So your question is mostly narrow. It's not a very broad question. So if you have a narrow question, like why is a certain drug working for monkeypox or COVID? If the research question is such, so the question is narrow. You do your search until your search is quenched, like you get all your research documents and you do the extraction process. You will be doing that. So if the research question is very broad, something related to cardiovascular, having a lot of literature, so it will take time. So based on your research question, your time frame for the search would vary. Like
okay, in the past 1 hour. Okay, we can detail them later. In the past 1 hour alone, Dr. Parimala, you have received 50 questions.
So a lot of we can reschedule such sessions for more benefit of everyone. Yeah. In coming days.
Yes. So I'm actually prioritizing. I am sorry, but keep on asking, because we'll have to ask the most important questions so that Dr. Parimala can do the very best in terms of quality as well as justice with time. Okay. Yes, yeah. Doctor. Over to you, Dr. Parimala. Now you can.
Okay, so let's move on to the slide, and please feel free to stop me, maybe text or raise your hand or ask Professor Maheshwar your query. I can stop, I can slow down, and we can discuss it. Yeah, because in online platform, this is really difficult to convey what you want to explain and where someone is lagging. Yeah. So I am going to share my presentation once more. Hope my screen is visible. So we were here, we went into a perfect time to take a break. Like we went to PubMed and we had a proper live display of looking into how a search string operates. Hope that was helpful to all of you. Now coming to conduct comprehensive literature search using different other databases. So there are, like PubMed, there are other databases, Scopus, Web of Science, Google Scholar, Embase, Hibiscus, Cochrane, ProQuest, and many others. So based on your own domain, you can look into other databases. So how does this databases help? Because not every journal is enlisted into PubMed. So some may be into other platforms. So that way, if you look into multiple databases, you have the opportunity to skim in all the relevant papers that you are working on. So you don't miss on some important literature in your domain. So search string from other databases, the same that I displayed in PubMed, diet quality and sarcopenia. So you can see, you can make a matrix like this for your search string from different databases. So this same is for Scopus, and the others are from Embase, Web of Science. So you can use Boolean operators to create your own search strings, and then that will help you to eliminate your filtration and getting into the right amount of literature based on different concepts that you want to merge, like climate change and some clinical disorder or whatever is your research question. Now coming to screening and select studies. After you have done with your data extraction, what you have to do, removal of duplication, like different databases. Some paper which are there in PubMed are also in Google Scholar. So when you do your search string and you get your papers extracted, you get certain duplicates. So you have to remove those duplicates. Then you have to conduct a title and abstract screening based on your inclusion criteria. Whenever you have developed a protocol, you have your inclusion and exclusion criteria. Like I will be looking into last 10 years paper. I will be excluding all the papers that are not written in English. I will be excluding all the papers that are not from Asian country or Southeast Asia country or LMICs. So based on your inclusion criteria, you are going to do your title and abstract screening, and that can be done manually using Excel sheet. However, these days there are tools like Covidence and Ryan for such screening. So this is a document on this is a research question on which I'm working, and here you can see the platform for Covidence. This is the first page, which takes you to several of papers where you go and you have to mark yes, maybe, no. What, based on your title and abstract, what is your thoughts? Whether this paper meets your inclusion criteria, should you keep it or you discard it? So what if there is a maybe? So it comes as a conflict, and this can be resolved by a senior member of your collaborative team. So this way you have to first remove the duplicates, then do the title and abstract screening, either using some tools or that can be done manually. Manually, you can put it in Excel and you can look into the title and then see if it meets your inclusion criteria or not. Then after the final corpus is extracted, you have to organize your data. So you have to create a Google sheet or Excel sheet and extract that data like authors, years, location, study design, sample size, outcome, key findings. So this is a matrix that I have used, the same of dietary quality and sarcopenia. We use this matrix where we looked into the study country, study design, health condition, sample size, age, diet quality measure, adiposity, other measures of obesity, sarcopenia measures, main finding. And then I always say that have a column for your critical comments. But these headings can be differed based on your own individual research question. So what exactly you are looking, what your research question demands for. Like someone asked for if it is a policy, so you have to capture policy details, and your column, your each cell needs to be according to your research question. So this is the way how you can organize your data once it is extracted. Then every paper, every good quality of review is looked into if it has a quality, and are we looking into risk of bias. So what is risk of bias? Bias means a study's result that may be unfair or misleading. You have to check the quality. It is very important because it ensures fair, complete, and whether it is properly done or not. It helps researchers and readers trust that it is coming from a right source. So there are several type of biases like selection biases, performance biases, detection biases, attrition bias, reporting biases. So when you are doing a primary study, you may have some bias. You may have not taken ethical permission. You would have not done, you would have not met with certain, reporting criteria. So while doing a review, we can use appraisal tools like NIH quality assessment tools, CASP critical appraisal skill program tools, Cochrane risk of bias tool, and JBI checklist. So there are checklists to see if the paper that you have reviewed, they have followed and they have not used any unfair means. So you can fill in those checklists. That really enriches your review, that you have even looked into the quality of the paper that you have reviewed. Then synthesizing the finding. When you are done with whole of this process, now we come into synthesizing. In a narrative synthesis, you basically qualitatively review the whole of the documents that you have extracted. In thematic analysis for a scoping review, when your topic is scoping review, you do a thematic analysis. Then meta-analysis for quantitative pooling of data. Here you use forest plot, funnel plot, or summary tables, basically like quantifying all the data that you have extracted from your matrix. So this is all about how you are going to do the literature review to finally synthesizing the finding. Now let's discuss the most commonly done review and its differences.
Can you also tell them a little bit about what these things are, like forest plots, especially for the younger people, funnel plots, summary table, just a few things maybe, or maybe show them?
That is there in my systematic review context. When I'll go to that phase, I'll be telling them more about that.
Sure.
So now let's discuss. As I said, there are 30 types of review, but we can broadly divide it into narrative or comprehensive review, scoping review, systematic review, and meta-analysis. So in case of narrative review, it provides a broader overview of a topic. It's the background, recent developments, and major findings. It is not standardized. A selection of studies are subjective based on author's judgment. So you may read around recent papers and write a narrative review. The time frame can be very small, and you can capture a lot of details. So it need not be standardized. There is no guarantee that I can replicate what you have done. It is flexible and often includes theoretical, historical context, key themes, and expert commentary. It is descriptive, then interpretative, not quantitative like meta-analysis. It helps synthesize knowledge, highlights gaps, suggests direction for future research. Then coming to scoping review, I had a chance of working on a scoping review, vaccination against hepatitis B, a scoping review. So mostly what does it do? It does mapping of existing literature, identifies knowledge gap useful for emerging research area. So it is very useful to understand what is the situation. It is mostly not in depth, rather in breadth. Then coming to systematic review. What is a systematic review? it is a systematic way where you ask and formulate a question using a way which can be reproduced by someone who is going to repeat it. So first step is you have to identify, select, and appraise. You have to formulate a research question, develop a protocol, then use search strategy, literature search, appraise selected data, extract and synthesize, and interpret it and present the findings. So coming more in depth to it, it is mostly structured and can be replicable, follows a predefined protocol. So I have shared two protocol platforms like Prospero and InPlace, both which I have used. So in Prospero, you can register your protocol for free. In InPlace, you have to give some $15 to register your protocol. How does a protocol helps? If someone of your fraternity is also working in that area, they can look into protocols, and so there would be less chance of duplication of your research question. So that helps, and you have to do that before you start your study so that it is already registered and you start whole of the process. Then the preferred reporting item, you can report whole of the method, how you are extracting your data in a Prisma sheet. So what is a Prisma sheet? It is a basically, it depicts how you have done your extraction of data, like how you have identified all your literature, which platforms you used, how many you removed. Like I would be more speaking on this, like when you are doing your database search, you can say from PubMed, I found 200 articles. Then I removed, then I used Google Scholar, I found 250 articles. Then I used Web of Science, I got 300 articles. So you mention it clearly. Then after removal of duplicates, I got only 300 papers. There were duplicates in different platforms. So I removed like 200 papers, and total we have 300 papers. Then you do your record screening, and every step of record screening needs to be mentioned. Like based on title screening, we found out which are matching to our research question. We have 50 papers. So we include 50 papers. Then out of the 50 papers, 30 papers didn't had a standard matching to your research question. So you remove that. So finally, corpus of 30 papers were used for further data extraction. So that whole thing can be captured in a Prisma chat. And this sort of Prisma templates are available online. Then coming to once you have your data in your Excel sheet, and then you do, if you evaluate it just quantitatively, then that is called systematic review. One can do just a systematic review. They don't have to do a meta-analysis along with a systematic review. If, however, you add a meta-analysis to it, what you have to do, you have to statistically combine the data from different extracted paper that you have captured. That will enhance the power and precision. Like one particular paper who is looking into, say, for example, prevalence of asymptomatic monkeypox. If there is a prevalence of, say, 5% in a population of 5,000 people. So when you add on such prevalence from different pool of population, it will really enhance the power and precision of calculating the pooled prevalence among different studies. So this requires mostly a homogeneous studies, because if some paper is talking about prevalence and another is looking into incidence, so that cannot be clubbed into one platform. So you have to have a homogeneity. So this is an example. We did a study on asymptomatic monkeypox. In the meta-analysis of the prevalence possible asymptomatic cases in studied population of 645 individuals were evaluated, of which 66 had asymptomatic infection. The pooled percentage of asymptomatic infections in the investigated population was 9.10%, with a confidence interval of 1.27. So this will really enhance the power, because initially you would be saying, this is the example of monkeypox. We can do it for diabetes. If the prevalence of diabetes in India is 10 to 12%, it can be like 15% in Nepal or Myanmar. Just a example, random example. So when we are clubbing all this paper and looking into the prevalence, then you can see the diamond shape. So the diamond shape will capture all the pooled and create a plot which will show the pooled prevalence of maybe diabetes, asymptomatic monkeypox, or whatever is your research question. So a systematic review and meta-analysis will be in detail discussed in subsequent sessions, because that itself needs a whole session if someone wants to in detail explain you about that. Now I'll come to differentiate between the three types of review. For a better clarity, we need to look into this, matrix. This will be very helpful to have a clear understanding. So whenever people have a lot of confusion about the three types of review, narrative review, the purpose is it summarizes and discusses a topic broadly. Scoping review, it maps key concept, type of evidence, and gaps. Systematic review, it answers specific questions using comprehensive evidence. So in a narrative review, it is very broad. Scoping review is also broad, but it has a research question and more systematic in nature. However, systematic review has a very narrow and focused research question. It has to be reproducible, so it needs to be transparent. The whole process needs to be documented in systematic review in a proper manner. In scoping review, we are more flexible. However, in narrative review, it need not be reproducible, so it need not be systematic. You can just do a review of the several literature and write a narrative review. This study selection in narrative is very subjective based on your own discrete. However, in scoping review, you have to capture the inclusiveness, variety of sources, where you did, how you did. But in systematic review, the whole process is very strict. You have to clearly mention the inclusion, exclusion criteria, and the whole extraction process. You have to capture it in the Prisma table. Then about the data analysis, narrative review can be in a very descriptive fashion. You just can write in different paragraphs with different themes and have interconnection, and it can be in a very descriptive manner. However, in scoping review, you have to map your data, because you're still looking into gaps, and you're mapping and plotting what is there missing in your research question. So you have to plot maybe geographically how is your research question distributed, or gender wise, or whatever way. You have to have a thematic analysis for that. And in systematic review, it mostly includes meta-analysis. If you are not doing a meta-analysis, it can be thematic as well. Then risk of bias assessment, the one that I explained earlier. A narrative review need not require a risk of bias assessment. In scoping review also, it is not mandatory, it is flexible. However, in systematic review, it is mostly performed risk bias assessment, because that will clarify and give the confidence to a reader of a systematic review that the paper that you have evaluated has merits on it, or how well those paper has been done. So systematic review systematic review meta-analysis on the hierarchy of review is being considered the most important evidence in the literature world. So now with this, I would take a break, and I would see if someone has any issue. And because last I have just 2 more slides where I'll be talking about ethics and authorship things. But now I'm open for if there is any clarification that is required.
Okay, great, excellent. I think you are doing very well so far, Dr. Parimala.
Yeah.
So
can you just give me a second? Just 1 minute.
Yeah. Please take a break. Yeah. Please take. Okay, participants. Dr. Parimala needs a bit of break. If you want to use this time for a break, okay, for a quick break for fresh breath or using the restroom, then you may use it. And in the meantime, Dr. Parimala will join and we'll start with a few questions that you have asked. You have asked about 42 open questions. So Dr. Parimala will have a tough time answering them now. So I'm very excited about this. I'm very happy with your participation as well. Please keep asking questions. Do not stop.
Yeah.
I want her to be tired. I want her to be tired by the end to keep on answering your questions. Okay? Because Dr. Parimala is the only person that I know who gives me a little bit of complex in terms of her enthusiasm and vivaciousness. Okay, so I need to make her a little bit tired while she is enjoying the vacation in Calcutta. Okay, let me ask the first question. Dr. Firdaus Samad is asking, good evening ma'am, many people say that using Google Scholar is easy to use. However, I face challenges with it. Can you demonstrate how to use it if time permits? Additionally, I have downloaded the CSV from Google Scholar several times but failed to screen papers as the CSV doesn't give abstracts. Any tips to solve this? This is a very practical question. I know you have been training them, so maybe you can help.
Yeah. I'm been training them, but I really could not hear the question. If you can just make it more simple, and I will.
Basically, she said that she downloaded a lot of articles, but they are downloading in as a CSV file, and it doesn't contain the abstracts, full abstracts. So she is having hard time processing them, like how to go about. So she is confused.
Okay.
They have a lot of concerns. She is one of the most active participants that we have got, and she is confused at this stage. So maybe
she is asking that from the Google Scholar, she is not able to see the full abstract.
Yeah, when she's downloading
CSV file. See, when you are extracting your CSV file needs to be kept in certain platform. Maybe you can upload it into your Zotero or Mendeley or some software if you are using it that way. So you have to upload it into Zotero or Mendeley, and then once you upload your CSV file, the whole of your library of your searched document will be captured there. Once you click that link, that will lead you to the abstract section, and then you can go through that. I hope I understood the question and I answered it right.
It's fine. She will cope well. I know. Okay, Jannatul Atia is asking, is it feasible to do data analysis and clinical research side by side, or is more sensible to take help from other disciplines?
Thank you for the question. Very pertinent question. Many people have this concern. So it depends upon the luxury that you have. If you are an independent researcher, having no one to support you, you have to do everything on your own, I must say. And if you are into a setup where you have collaborative teams,
can you hear her?
Am I not audible?
Yeah, you are audible now. Yes.
Yeah, you are audible.
Okay. So sorry for the background disturbances.
It's fine.
So what I was telling, if you have the luxury of having a collaborative team with yourself, who can where you can split in your work, someone can do the data analysis, someone can do review, someone can write the text, so that way you can utilize those resources. However, if you are an independent researcher, then you have to do whole of the thing on your own. Maybe you are a clinician or a social scientist or a public health expert, whatever you are. So that's the reason that collaboration is always a very important step in research, where you really get a group of people who can complement you in things that you deficient and you may contribute in your niche area. Yeah.
Okay. The next person is asking, anonymous attendee, what is the minimum number of results needed in literature review before you go for research paper reviews?
Minimum number of
results, like you demonstrated in the results, no? So he's asking here, she is asking.
So the forest plot that I displayed you about the asymptomatic monkeypox, we had only 4 papers in that systematic review. So it was so novel that time, it just appeared and we did a systematic review on it. So how many paper you need to have, there is no fixed criteria. it absolutely depends upon your search string. And I will always suggest you have your research question such that you can manage your literature. Your research question need not be so elaborate, so big that you will get 25,000 paper to finally evaluate. So that will never, you will never come to the outcome of the research. So basically, I would suggest your research question and your key terms, mesh terms should be such way permutation and commuted that at the end you have 30 or 50 doable research item in that particular research paper. So that is what I can suggest.
Okay, Sajjad Hussain is asking, the question is basically this: meta-analysis and data analysis are both the same.
Meta-analysis and data analysis. As Professor Maheshwar tells, no question is silly. This is absolutely a wonderful question. Meta-analysis is a statistical technique which is used to synthesize the quantitative data that we are extracting from the literature. However, data analysis is used from the quantitative data that we get from primary data, or maybe secondary data like NFHS sensors or other platform which has quantifiable numbers. So we do a analysis. We use softwares or we do manually, whatever. Our Stata, SPSS softwares are used to do data analysis. And for meta-analysis as well, we use RevMan, R, where you can use codes to pull in the quantitative part of the literature extract.
Yeah. And Arindam is asking, I get confused between when to use star anem and the mesh term anemia.
Star.
He's doing some project. Yeah. He's basically quoting the Boolean word anem, A-N-E-M, anem, and the mesh term, that is anemia, the real word.
Yeah. Is it like asterisk? He is asking star means asterisk.
Yes.
So basically, asterisk is pulling in all the related word based to the stem word. Every word has a stem word. It has several other nutrition, nutrient. So these are related words. However, if you just put nutri, it will leave on the other similar related words. So if you put an asterisk, it will capture all the related word which is similar to your base word. So that's the reason of using asterisk.
Okay, anonymous attendee is asking, ma'am, after applying the search strategy, how can we proceed with such big number of papers?
Exactly, wonderful question. I said your research question need to be narrow. You are clubbing up concepts. You have one concept, you have another concept. You are using Boolean operators to either club two concepts or maybe narrow down. You use and to club or to club synonyms and not to remove. That food poisoning, not like food indigestion. So it will just capture food poisoning papers. So once you do your search, start looking for key terms, research question, which will narrow down gradually. You will get unnecessary lot of papers which will be extracted. And also a point to which will be beneficial, I believe, during your final search, you will around get 1,000 paper. But when you match it with your inclusion criteria, it will drop down to 50 or 60 paper hardly. And then when you further even look into in depth of the paper full text evaluation, you will see that only 20 paper would be matching to your pertinent research question. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Right. The last question before you continue with your presentation is, can you enlighten us on approaches for doing a focus review?
Enlighten us on approaches of focused review.
Focus review, please.
Yeah. As I said, review can be broadly divided into narrative, scoping, systematic. So a focused review is a special type of review where you're looking into a focused small area. So if your area is very narrow, you have to pick in very particularly what your mesh terms are. You have to refine it, then look into different databases and see what exactly are being extracted. And then you have to go through that and you can evaluate them. Basically, it is not very different from the narrative review. It just is not very broad. It is very specific to your own topic. You just have to focus. Like I'm just looking into one area, like someone asked precision medicine. So it's a very particular area. You just have to focus on that area. So it is somewhat similar to narrative review, and you have to follow the narrative review pattern for that. Yeah. Thank you.
Parimala, you are going to be tired at night because uh, you have only answered 24 and 44 are still open and
So
people are still asking
Professor
questions.
Maheshwar, I believe I complete my slides
We'll
and I'll
compile them.
try my.
We'll compile them.
You can compile and I'll try my
Yeah,
best
yeah.
to answer everyone. Yeah.
Sure. You please carry on. Once you complete, we'll try to take few more questions, and whatever is left unanswered, we can answer them in a written form later.
Yeah.
Sure. Please carry on.
Absolutely. So my slide is visible.
Yes.
Yeah. So we had a very detailed discussion about the difference of three broad review types, and you can somehow bring in all the 30 reviews into these three patterns, and then be very specific to your particular research question, what it demands. If it demands a policy review, then it should be tailored accordingly. If it is a precise review, it needs to be tailored accordingly. Then coming to then to sum up, like I started with research and different type of innovation, then how to do a research. The most important aspect of a research is its ethics. No research, anyone can do anything at home and claim it to be a research. It cannot be a research. Research needs to be ethical. So before you start doing research, you should be ethical in your practices. So first thing is plagiarism and data fabrication. So using some others' work and not giving due credit is known as plagiarism. And data fabrication is inventing or altering data, a serious misconduct. So the consequences can be your research can be retracted, there can be damage in reputation, legal penalties, and things like that. So you should avoid yourself while you're starting your journey in research. Word of caution for this. Then your ethical approvals. All human and animal studies require approval from IRB and IEC, Ethical Institution Committee. However, there are exemptions for doing narrative review, systematic review, and scoping review. So that is something that you can always do at your ease, and you can invest your energy for doing research without much of complexity of ethical approvals. Then ensure participant safety, scientific validity, and compliance with ethical standards. When you're doing a primary study, we have focused our whole research in terms of reviews. However, there is another branch of research which is primary study, and it needs to be taken care that we are doing it safely without hampering, or there is compliance to the ethical standard, where we are not breaking any bridge in data and things like that. And informed consent is also an important factor. Participants must voluntarily agree in a primary study to fully disclose their details. Data sharing is also an important part. Transparency is encouraged. Then we should follow the principle that whatever we are taking, there should be consent, and data sharing should be transparent and should not hamper the person who has shared the sensitive content about himself. Mostly anonymity is a very major aspect. You need to maintain the anonymity of a person. You cannot reveal that this person has given this data. And mostly when we are doing cross country research, we should be more sensitive about these details. And upholding research integrity is fundamental to responsible science. Then authorship and conflicts. So there is a detailed authorship criteria. ICMJE criteria is there. Substantial contribution to conception, design, data collection, and analysis should be there for authorship. Then drafting or critically revising the manuscript, one needs to do that. Final approval for the version to be published. Accountability for all aspects of the work needs to be there for claiming a authorship. Then we should avoid ghost or honorary authorship. Ghost authorship means someone who has done a lot of work, but all of a sudden you just drop down his name because of some conflict or something. So that is unacceptable in research. And gift authorship, like someone has not contributed a single inch, but we just give them. So the best practices, clearly defining the roles early and use contributionship statement. So best way when we are collaborating is when you are a group of 5 people, you decide among yourself who is going to take which authorship position, what would be their role, how they are going to contribute, and authorship should be contribution based always, not some gift or honorary based. Then declaring conflict of interest, disclose financial, personal, or professional relationship that may bias the work. Like you should include your funding sources, your affiliation, any stock ownership. Like today is no tobacco day. So if you are having a lot of ITC, Indian tobacco ITC control products, and a lot of share of that, and you are doing a research to prevent tobacco control, so that acts as a conflict. So you should mention that during your submission of articles. So thank you. Now I am open to a detailed question and answer session. And for any query, you can always drop in or shoot me a mail at my mail ID. I'll be happy to answer you all. Yeah. Thank you so much. I'm done with my presentation and I'm open to questions. Dr. Maheshwar, I cannot hear you. You're muted.
Yeah, I forget that I have muted myself, just to be very courteous to everyone. Okay, now that you have completed the presentation, now we'll proceed with a detailed question and answer for 30 minutes, okay, or till the time the session gets over. Participants, you are putting questions, so welcome. Please keep putting questions. We'll prioritize the questions which are very important, and we'll ask the questions which are very relevant to this training program, okay? So in this time period, whatever the questions Dr. Parimala can ask, she'll ask. So if you could stop the presentation, Parimala, then we'll resume. Participants, you can note down Dr. Parimala's email ID she had put up on the screen, and we'll start the question answer now. Okay. Yes. So let me start. Are you ready? Is it like going to be a quick fire of questions? Okay. Let me be ready as well. Okay. Priyanka asked, what is the difference between umbrella review and meta-analysis?
Umbrella review and meta-analysis. Basically, meta-analysis is where you are capturing all of the quantitative part. And umbrella review is the review of all the systematic reviews. Like already in your area, there are 10, 20 systematic review that has been done. It is a saturated area. So you can do an umbrella review. You can go into all the reviews that has been done and you can capture them and do a review of those systematic reviews. So that is umbrella review. However, meta-analysis is quantification of the other like primary cross-sectional studies based on your research question. If you're looking into prevalence of diabetes, so whatever 50 papers you got from your search, that you can quantify to get into a pooled prevalence of diabetes, for example. Yeah.
Okay, good. Mohammed Hassan Ali is asking, I want to learn systemic review. Actually, he means systematic review because he probably doesn't know what is systematic review. Systematic review and meta-analysis. Could you please advise me on how can I learn it?
Wonderful question. A good response to this is we are very shortly going to have a detailed session on systematic review and meta-analysis. So that will be beneficial for you. Join that, be actively hearing the whole thing, and then get into doing one systematic review. And then you will be at your, have a team where someone has experience in working in systematic review, so they can help you, guide you through, and you have your own hands-on experience of learning systematic review. Yeah.
Yes. So all the participants, those who are attending this particular training program, please be assured that coming weekend on the Saturday, you will be having another advanced training program by someone. I don't want to name them right now. The announcement is coming soon on systematic review and meta-analysis. Okay, so this will be a 2-hour session, training session, just like today, and all of you are going to have a good time. It's going to be provided completely for free to all of you. So please attend this and share this news among all your friends, okay, so that they stay tuned and they take the benefit of this learning delivery process, for which a lot of people are charging lots of money outside, but we are providing completely for free. Okay, thank you. The next question is Abina Mariam is asking, do we need to put a description of how we are filtering our literatures out of thousands in the methodology section of our review paper?
So how to write the methodology
Yeah, how to
section.
filter that? How to filter that in the methodology section, basically.
Yeah. So yeah. Basically, once I would always give this as importance. Then when you are doing your data extraction, please fill in your Prisma chart. So that will be a good exercise where you capture each detail from the start. And when you are writing your methodology section, that how you have extracted, so you start like writing in details what all databases you used, what was your math term, what was your syntax, what boolean operators you used and created syntax, total how many papers were which came in your last extraction. Then you slowly reduce down that on our final based on our title and abstract screening we got 50 papers, and then on further evaluation we dropped down 10 more papers, and total 30 papers were included in our extraction procedure, which we used for further extraction of results. And the whole thing can be given as a supplementary table in your publication, and also it will be in a flow chart manner in the Prisma table, so that way it is visually also someone can understand the methodology and also in the write-up part. Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Okay. Somebody is asking, and probably that's why they are putting it as anonymous attendee. They're saying, what is the scope of literature review when it comes to publishing it? Most of the good journals nowadays don't accept literature review. Apart from systematic reviews, are there any other kind of literature reviews which are considered for publishing?
Very pertinent and apt question for publication. But for your understanding, initially a literature review, like a narrative review, was of value because people used to do a lot of effort. This day, you can just in a click, you can get a lot of narration, you can do paraphrasing, you can do things. So there are so much surge of submission of narrative reviews to journals that they have switched in their intake of narrative review in general. But nonetheless, a narrative review is still accepted. Your research question needs to be very novel, very innovative, and it should be of some relevance. Like, you have to contextualize what is the need of the hour, like COVID, some drug and its efficaciousness. So if you are looking into such a question, then that review may be looked into. Or if you are doing a comparative narrative review, like I am looking into efficacy of one medicine versus another medicine, then that narrative review will be of value. But however, if it is just a general, like what is COVID-19, no one is going to accept it for a narrative review. And systematic review, of course, needs time and rigor. I absolutely understand, but you have to be very smart in choosing your research question for a narrative review that can be even accepted in top journal like Lancet and other places as well. Yeah, thank you.
In addition, how you do the narration, if you are choosing narrative review as a method, you need to be a very good quality narrator as well, right?
Exactly.
You can't be doing narrative review without being a good narrator,
Yeah.
So otherwise, if you do a terrific review, narrative review, I think Lancet, Nature, Science, everyone will be very happy to publish it, provided you know what you are doing, not use the chat GPT generated thing and edit it, this doesn't help. That's not how reviews are done. So I hope you are mindful of that when you do it next time. And the next question is, this is actually a very good question. Anonymous attendee asking, I think the anonymous attendee loves you. How to choose perfect how to choose a perfect reference article for research review?
Perfect reference article. Yeah, thank you for the this anonymous attendee seems very smart. So when you are looking into pool of literature and you have got couple of paper, so when you see your core concept which matches best matches to the several search literature, you have to look into the citations. How many citation that particular paper has received, the impact of that paper, where it has been published. You cannot look to a paper from a very predatory journal as your masterpiece. You have to match your research question and the paper which has been published in a good quality journal with number of citations. So number of citation really makes it a indicator that this paper has value and it has already been looked by many people in your area.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
One person, Ananya, is asking, can you explain how meta-analysis and systematic review is different from each other? I think she asked the question before you presented. Maybe still, if you want to.
Yeah. And this has been like a redundant response, but yeah, systematic review is basically when you are the approach should be systematic and it can be reproduced. If Professor Maheshwar is doing, the methodology needs to be written in such a way that if I am also going to do that, I'll also have similar type of inference. So I'll also get the whole extraction things. So that is systematic review. When the whole systematic review has a quantitative component of it, when I'm going to evaluate it statistically, add power to the whole of the if I'm looking into odds ratio, relative risk, or whatever, if I pull it and I quantify it, then that becomes a meta-analysis. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Martin Jang Pham is asking, so please, my question is, will you advise a person doing a scoping review to use Prisma or not?
In a scoping
Prisma
review,
guideline.
yeah, for a scoping review, it is not mandatory. However, it is always advisable to make it as systematic as possible, because scoping review is also systematic. However, it's not as systematic as a systematic review, but if you maintain all the integrity of a systematic review in a scoping review, scoping review is just finding gaps. It is a broad question. The research question is different in case of scoping review. So you mostly find gaps, you map things in a scoping review. So if you put a Prisma chart in that, so that would be always helpful and the reviewers would be happy with that.
Prisma guidelines is used universally for doing scoping reviews, for systematic reviews and meta-analysis, even for focused reviews. Okay, so you should be very clear on these things. The next question comes is, what are the most common, Ebrima Kaha is asking, what are the most common mistakes researchers make during a literature review and how can they be avoided?
Thank you for the good question. Like most of the researcher, while doing a literature review, what they do, they are not organized. So that is something that really makes the whole research process very complex and frustrating for a researcher. When I was starting my journey as a researcher, no one helped me. But now, if someone would ask me if I have to go back, then I would improvise on this. Whenever you are doing a literature, it is always advisable, like you jot down, make a folder for introduction, start putting your discussion things into one folder, make it more organized, put it into a Zotero, add your references into a referencing citing tool, then start having a outline of whole of the thing. When you are doing a literature search, have a matrix. I have even come across such researchers who have put in all their research till date, like they would have read thousands of paper into a matrix sheet where they summarize their paper in their own word in every row. So that makes a master sheet for you. If you're working in a particular area, you will have a rich pool of your own critical appraised papers, which you can always go back if you are in a small working area. So that will be really helpful for you. Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Right. The next question is asked by Ikman Seni. How big a role does R programming plays in data analysis?
Thank you for the question. R is a very powerful software which is used for data analysis, and as it is free for everyone, so that makes it even more acceptable, and it is built in such a way that you have great visual contents, and you can do your analysis in a very precise manner. Like in SPSS data, the precision is as compared to R bit less. However, our being a free software makes it the most wonderful data analysis platform. Yeah.
Okay. Malavika, Dr. Malavika is asking, for learners coming from humanities background, can they conduct systematic review?
Thank you for the question. Systematic review can be conducted by anyone who has scientific knowledge and who can utilize research, literature reviewing skill, and doing systematic review. The techniques, if they know the techniques, they can do. It is not limited to medical fraternity or social science fraternity. You can just choose in your topic and you can work on it and you can publish it. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, okay. And Ashley Dubey is asking, how do we determine best tone when writing literature review?
Best tone. Yeah, there are certain criteria for writing literature review. Like going back again to my earlier days, when I was just very new to it, I used to write literature review. Like Satpathy et al. Said this et al. Said this et al. Said this. So, but then literature review needs to be written down in a manner that is very interesting. It is just like a story. You are building in a story. You are not just putting facts one after another. So it has to be a flow where you write the whole concept, and there are you have to look into the tonality, like active voice, it should be in active voice, and it should be having a like each paragraph should have a theme where you put in all the literature of that particular area. Like this et al, this et al, this et al, the three person who had similar thought, you have to make them one and write it in one line. Like Dr. Satpathy, me and another person, we all have three same opinion on a particular note. So I write the particular concept and then mark the three person. So that way, and it needs to be practiced, and when you read you understand how it is being written. So that is what I would suggest.
Okay, participants, keep on asking questions because Dr. Parimala is showing so much of interest in answering your questions. I think she is going to be having a hard time answering them because 48 still open. So Vishal Gupta is asking, how to choose a specific topic for research after doing MSc? Please answer.
Okay, thank you so much for the question. If you would have written MSc in Word, then it would have been more easy for me to answer you. However, still taking it a general, if you have done a master's in science, you are a science master student, you can choose any topic which really interests you, because research need not be that you have come from. I have seen people who have come from legal background and they like medicine and they have pursued their research career in medicine. So research is these days collaborative, interdisciplinary. So you coming from a science background, you can choose any topic that really interests you. You are enthusiastic about working it or want to contribute to that. Pick a small topic to start with and do a narrative review on your initial days so that you have an idea how to do a review, then move on to scoping and systematic review. That's what I can suggest.
Definitely. Lisa Mary Matthew asks, hi ma'am, thank you for the wonderful question. My question is whether we can include grey literatures and reprints in reviews.
Grey literature and question. The other part is?
Reprints.
Okay. Reprints. Thank you for the, thank you for the question. Actually, once you are doing your review, it is supposingly that you capture all of the literature that is available. No literature should be skipped, like grey literature, preprints, everything should be captured. Nonetheless, whenever you're doing a review, make sure that whatever is your inclusion criteria, that should be mentioned clearly in the methodology section. That whether I'm going to capture grey literature, whether I'm going to capture policy notes, whether I'm going to capture preprints, that should be mentioned in your methodology section. If you are in a mind to exclude that, then it should be mentioned that gray literature preprints are excluded from my search criteria. But it is always welcome to include as much as possible, which can enrich your whole search.
Definitely. Veena Babu is asking, upon doing a scoping or narrative review, is it advisable to have minor changes in research question?
A review is mostly iterative process till you have not concluded your submission. You can do and alter a bit changes, because as you are progressing, research means you are looking for something new, or you are trying to find out something. When you are in a process of finding out and you see your research question can be bit altered, and that will add more sense to the whole context, then I believe that you can do bit. But it should not be that initially I'm looking for apple and then later I shifted to oranges. It should not be like that. You can look into like a variety of apples. Maybe you can make slight of alteration.
Yeah. Argha Day is asking, is there any specific way to choose or develop efficient research questions based on the topic?
Efficient research question based on the topic.
Yes, efficient
So,
research question.
so if you have your topic fixed, you have to look into research questions which are very specific, which are in PICO format. Like it needs to be, it need not be very, random, which has no end to it. It needs to be specific so that once we are asking, we have an answer to it. So specificity of research question needs to be there. And of course, if you have your title, you have the components, you frame your research, and you do a permutation combination of different questions. What all question can answer my objective? How do you ask a research question? You basically have an objective that why I'm going to do this research. I'm looking into COVID. Why do I want to look? You have to look into why, how, and everything of that. Why I'm going to do this. Then you have to finalize your objective. Okay, my objective is I will be looking into how many people died in COVID. So my research question would be similarly, so that it answers my objective. And then it should be specific so that I'm able to answer my question. I need not ask a vague question. Yeah, thank you.
No problem. Thank you. Atul Moria asks, reading line by line a paper is tough task. Is there any tool, means I'm correcting his question, is there any tool which helps in literature review?
Thank you so much. As I said, these days technology has taken up, and there are a lot of tools like Research Rabbit and things like that, which you can use for skimming in your papers. However, I would say a traditional way always beats, because that builds in your understanding. So you can do two things. One is first take a master paper, read it thoroughly from top to bottom, as detailed as possible. Then whatever other papers which are lined up, try to do a skim reading and see which matches to your relevance, and accordingly you can do a filtration. Skim reading is like look into the objective first, see the result, then look into the methodology what they have done. So that way you are in a position where you can better justify and critically appraise the paper that you are reading. However, there are several other AI platforms which can be used for your making the things easy for you.
Dr. Parimala, the participants seem to be taking both our suggestion that there is no silly question very, very close to their heart. They're asking now, ma'am, what is grey literature? Please tell us about it.
Yeah, okay. Thank you so much. Like grade literature, I would say any newspaper article, any article that is being published in any general platform. Someone said something, some documents that has not been published in a good journal. Maybe a predatory journal's finding can be also considered as a grey literature, or some policy notes or something which is or maybe some website has published some documents, like someone is doing a research in rabies but it is not of importance, so it is not being able to be published in a very big platform, but it is being published in some website. If you are very interested and you go and look into those uh, detailed integrity, and you start writing mailing to all the NGOs who are working for that, and get in detailed documents of those variety, then those can be called as grilled fish. Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Jannatul Mawa Fabiha is asking, what are your recommendations or suggestions for finishing a scoping review's manuscript effectively and with quality in a limited time frame? She's
So
literally
if
asking what she is about to do in the next 1.5 months.
So basically, if you have a target to complete your scoping review, so start as early as possible. And I would suggest that when you're doing your scoping review, along with your literature study, start putting words to your first draft. Start writing your introduction part. Your introduction should be in a funnel way approach. So while writing the introduction, you are doing simultaneously the literature review. So during your literature review only, you will get content for your introduction. You first write the burden of the particular topic that you're looking into, then you slowly narrow down and get into maybe LMICs, and then you further narrow down and built in the, like I showed you two concepts, dietary quality and sarcopenia. So you club up the concepts built in a narration, and that also can be brought in during your literature review, which you are bringing for your result section. Then you write the introduction part along with your literature search. Once your literature search is done, quickly put it into a matrix where you can have you know uh, each details which can be later used as homogeneous or heterogeneous themes, and that can built in the result section. And then you write, once your result is there, you just compare and contrast and write the discussion part, add the reference, and your scoping review is done.
Okay. Nurse Driven Jiragi Marcus is asking, is there any tool that can assist a researcher in conducting scoping review?
Yeah, thank you for your question. Yeah, there are several tools for assisting for a scoping review. Like you can use different search platforms for doing your initial screening. Once your initial screening is done, you can extract them using CSV file. Use Mendeley Zotero to remove duplicates. Then you can do extraction of your data sheet using maybe if you have a co-mate, then you can use Ryan and Covidence. Covidence is a paid one, Ryan is free. Maybe where you can look into the title and abstract screening. So those tools can be helpful. Then you can use other Research Rabbit, Lit Maps, then bibliometric tools like there are several tools which you can use for plotting things and all. So yeah, you can use multiple tools. You have to explore a bit more on that, which will fit into your own context. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, okay. Participants, remember that the attendance form, the feedback form has been dropped in the chat here. You can go to the link and fill the attendance form right now. It will be open only for the 15 minutes while we respond to the rest of the questions. Um, you please go ahead and fill the form. Please fill the form correctly with your email ID, all the details correctly, so that the certificate reaches you all on time, and do not get back to me in personal chat complaining that my certificate hasn't reached. Okay, fill the details correctly. No spelling mistakes, please. Thank you. The devil lies in the details, they say in research. Okay, you need to be very, very careful. Okay, next. Abdul Kadir Usman Sambo is asking, good day madam and professor sir, please what is the minimum number of databases to search for systematic review? Minimum number of databases.
Thank you for your question. Like as many databases you can include, that is always good. However, not every university or institution has access to all the databases. And the freely available databases are Google Scholar, PubMed. Scopus is mostly provided by many institutions. Web of Science is also provided. So you have to look into what databases you have access to. So once as many, because once you have your search string, you can always put those key terms into different databases to extract the data, and that gives you the benefit that you don't miss on any literature. However, if you have limitation of not getting access to databases, so you have to limit yourself to whatever you have. That I would say.
Okay. Mahmouda Binte Ajit.
Minimum two would be good. Like Google Scholar, PubMed will do your work.
It depends on the kind of review you're conducting. If it is a systematic review, then you should take all the sources, all the databases. Okay. Mamuta Binte Aziz is asking, Madam, may I know, is there any website or AI tool to find a good literature paper? I mean, how can we understand this is a good literature or journal paper? This is a very good question, actually.
Can you please repeat the question? I somehow lost you.
He says there are two questions. First is saying, is there any online tool or AI based tool to detect a good paper? Then second thing is, there are so many papers. How do we get to know that this is a good paper?
Thank you so much for the question. Like to the first question, AI tool to know good question. Of course, there are AI tools like ChatGPT. So you have to ask a very detailed question to the ChatGPT. You have to put in that check this paper on basis of the criteria. Has it met this? Like all the biases has been checked or not. Maybe you have to ask a detailed question and ask the paper. You can add the paper, and that can critically review and give you some suggestion. However, you still need to put in your own brain to evaluate that that is really not hallucinating, and it's you can trust that. So that is one point. The second is among the multiple papers, how to understand if the literature is of relevance and importance. You can understand it based where it is published, based on the citation, looking into the methodology section, how detailed the methodology section is. Have they taken ethical approvals? Have they in detail explained the methodology part? Because as detailed your methodology is, that makes a paper more replicable to different contexts. So if you see that it has looked into different selection criteria, inclusion criteria and all, so you can understand that okay, this paper is credible and I can refer this. Yeah,
Okay.
thank you.
Para Yasmin is asking, please keep drinking some water, Parimala, because so many questions. You have answered almost 55 plus questions. This is like a big thing, actually, to be done within a span of just half an hour, 45 minutes. Para Yasmin is saying, how can I conduct a systematic policy review to assess the governance and accountability frameworks of the digital health system in a country with limited local literature? Will it be a problem? And to what extent should international examples and best practices be incorporated to provide a comprehensive analysis? Is it necessary? It's a very good question.
Yeah, it's a very good question. As I said to the previous question, your access to data is an important factor. As a researcher, you always have to look. Research is a very resource constant thing for everyone. Like everyone who is doing an NASA research, also they need more funding, but they are working on a smaller fund. When I'm talk to funding aspect. Now, when I talk into accessibility of data, so what all policy level data is available to you in your country? That is a very important question while framing a research question. You have to consider all those factors, because if I aim to do a primary study on policy and I have to talk with prime minister, but I will never get an appointment to talk to him, so it's not possible. So you have to look in those direction. First, check on the secondary data sources, on the available policy that are present openly for you, which you can access in your country. If that first have an outline of that. Once you see that you have substantial amount of literature that you are able to find out, then draft your research question accordingly, and then you can always do a systematic policy analysis. It is doable. It is just based on what available resources are there that you have to check on. Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Yeah, Priyanka is asking, what's the difference between umbrella review and meta-analysis?
Okay, thank you for the question. Umbrella review is basically review of all the systematic reviews. Like until till date, whatever review has been done in an area, systematic review that has already been done. So I target to review those systematic review and club them into one platform. So that can be considered as an umbrella review. And systematic review is the research question needs to be very narrow, pointed, having a particular which has the power to answer a question. Like For example, if you want to look into prevalence of certain thing, then you look into multiple cross-sectional studies, you include them, and you get into details of that, and you thematically analyze that. So that way you can differentiate systematic review with an umbrella review. Yeah, thank you.
Yes, Atul Moria is asking how to find research gap in a particular field, as there are huge researches, means lots of research done. How many papers should be reviewed?
Yeah. Thank you for the question. Like I always, I have heard this say from my mentor, who has always kept on saying that there is no breadth of research for someone who wants to do research. Now you have to pick in your domain, your area, and start looking into the like recently I was going through a Lancet paper where it was saying the research question need not be a very complex big, it can be very simple, like magnetic field affecting the growth of seed germination. So magnet was always there, seed was always germinating. So the simple association magnet and seed germination can be a very important research question. So your area, like apple was always falling, just Newton found that. I could not recognize, we could not have that understanding. So research gaps are numerous in your field. You just have to read, and you have to be very innovative, and you should have that insight to look into what exactly can solve the problem. You should have a attitude of solving problem. If you have that attitude, you will find your research gap and you will work on it. Yeah, thank you.
Definitely. Nosin Subha is asking to conduct a scoping review. There are many frameworks like by ArcSe, LEVAC, and Joanna Briggs Institute, JBI. Is there any condition when to follow which framework? It's a very
There are, this is a very technical question, and there are frameworks which needs to be considered while doing like JBI needs to be done when it is a cross-sectional study. So whenever what exactly you are going to do, you have to look into those checklist, and you have to comply with that in detail. At this point I am not in a position to answer you. Maybe I'll get back. If you drop in a mail, I'll do a quick search for you and I'll revert back to you for sure.
Yes, I think there are well-established criteria, so you just need to read a bit more. Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. This is a good question. Manavindra Burman is asking which type of application is useful for systemic review. Actually, systematic review. He is asking systematic review and meta-analysis like Biosphere or any other applications is there.
Systematic review.
Yeah.
Mostly what we do is, if you use a Covidence, that is a good place for getting your data, where you can filter your data. Once your data is filtered, you can thematically analyze it, and then you can use R, Revman, this sort of software to do meta-analysis and further refine it.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Anurika Unamadu Ipiamarom is asking, please, Ma, can you tell us a little bit about a narrative intervention review?
Narrative?
I have increased your problem because this topic has been given by me. Narrative intervention review.
Narrative intervention review. Yeah, thank you for the question. So this is as I said, most of the review can be divided into 3 groups. So yours is a narrative review, but you are looking into the intervention aspect. So why your review title has been given such? Because that will make the acceptance of your paper bit way ahead. Because if it is general narrative review of a particular thing, then that is just a very routine. So now what you have to look into all the intervention that has been done into a particular area, and you have to systematically put down. Maybe you can chronologically order it, like based on the year when which intervention was given, then, but it should be in a narrative fashion. You don't have to put in a methodology to it. However, I would always say, when you are also doing a narrative review, follow a matrix, put your things, and be systematic, so that when you are writing your narrative review, the narration becomes such a way that no journal is going to reject your paper. So you pull in all the intervention that has been done in your area of topic, maybe chronologically try to draft it for having a comprehensive narrative intervention review.
Yeah. There was a good question asked by Tahira. She says, how can we thematically analyze policies in the right way for a narrative policy?
Thank you for the question. Like when you are doing a thematic analysis of a policy review or any of your this response would be also useful for others who are doing similar thematic. When you have to build in your result section. Whenever you are doing a thematic analysis of maybe it a policy or a narrative review or a scoping review, what you have to do, your matrix sheet is there where all the details of each review is, you have broken down into bits and pieces, and your summary, you have that matrix. When you have your matrix, what you are going to do the next, you have to extract homogeneous content and heterogeneous content. So once you have extracted homogeneous and heterogeneous content, you can utilize it to build in themes. Like I can also build in based on geography, how it is scattered. I can build it on base of gender, maybe age profile, or maybe different parameters based on your topic specific. So that way, as you ask for policy, so in policy you can see chronological order, which policy first came in, then you can group on which who all said same things. So you have to divide it homogeneously and heterogeneously for building in different themes, and you can use color coding. There are different several techniques for pulling out themes from your extracted matrix.
Okay,
Yeah,
good.
thank you.
The last questions, I'll not go further because you have answered about 65 questions now. Chandrima Das is asking, I'm reading two questions now. Ma'am, I have two questions. Can we have multiple types of reviews in one research project? For example, having evidence map and network meta-analysis in one paper. And the question number one is, second is difference between scoping meta review and normal systematic review and meta-analysis.
Thank you for the question. You are right. The first question, can you just tell me the first question so that I answer that, and then we go.
Yeah, I'll read it out again. Can we have multiple types of reviews in one research project? For example, having evidence map and network meta-analysis in one paper.
Yeah, evidence map and network analysis. Yeah, this type of review can be done. You have to see what type of review you want to club. Like a systematic review and scopic review cannot be matched. However, a bibliometric analysis and narrative review can be included. A evidence synthesis map and a policy analysis can be included. So you have to see, like it should not club up the broad area. Narrative review, scoping review cannot be included. So the domain needs to be separated. However, in the narrative review, you can add a bibliometric analysis, a evidence gap mapping analysis, and those type of things you can include in one type of research project. That is doable.
And the second question is difference between scoping meta review and normal systematic review and meta analysis.
Scoping meta review and normal systematic. Scoping review is basically, it is a gap finding. It is a broad question. You are not getting inside. There is not a pertinent research question which is looking into a answer. Rather, scoping anything which you are utilizing scoping review, it is like finding a gap. It is plotting in. So in that also, and when there is meta-analysis to it, analysis to it, you are quantifying it. So basically, you are quantifying the gaps. However, in systematic review, it is more of a pertinent question which narrowly have a pertinent research question and looks into an answer to a question. It's not finding gap, it's finding the answer to a particular question, and then you further quantify and you do an analysis. Then that is a meta-analysis, systematic review and meta-analysis. In case of scoping review, it is basically broadly looking into mapping into gaps, finding and understanding. It is still in an exploratory stage when you are trying to understand the situation. But systematic review is like answering the issue, why this is happening, what needs to be done. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. And another person is asking, what is the evidence pyramid?
Yeah, thank you. Evidence pyramid is basically the hierarchy of this review. We have a hierarchy, like which review holds more value. Like a narrative review in a pyramid, the narrative review falls in the most base of the pyramid, and as we climb up, scoping review is in between, and as we climb to the most top, it is systematic review and meta-analysis, because the systematic review and meta-analysis mostly looks into several cross-sectional or primary study, and it clubs in and brings in more detail pulling of content from those paper, and mostly it is involved with meta-analysis, which further quantifies and brings precision to our values, parameters, like be it prevalence, be it incidence, for example. So those are considered at the topmost in the hierarchy of the pyramid.
Okay, Dr. Parimala, you have answered so far 71 questions and 41 are still left to be answered, 42 now, okay, and they are increasing slowly as I'm noticing it. But I cannot continue to hassle you like this, okay. So I will end with a question, and that's also a compliment. There have been a number of compliments in the question mark because we have not allowed them to use the chat, because we want to reduce the disturbance. So the question is by anonymous attendee. Your fan seems like they are asking why community medicine people are brilliant.
So basically, I would say I'm not community medicine. I believe myself to be more interdisciplinary. And if it is a compliment to me, and if it is a general question why community medicine are brilliant, or to be honest, I don't think any particular group of people are brilliant. Brilliance comes with your own effort, with your own passion for pursuing anything. So my last word that I would like to say to you whole group who have been with me for this long time, so this shows your perseverance of learning. So utilize this platform to have and bring built in a very strong community where we can support each other. Time is a positive for everyone, but I would suggest that we should utilize it in a very positive way so that we can have something substantial to the world. That's all that I can say.
Yeah. Okay, I'll still ask one more last question because this is a very, very important question. She wants to, she is requesting, ma'am, please share about ethical use of AI. Can be.
Ethical use of AI.
AI.
Ethical use. Yeah.
I think
Thank you so
this is
much.
a very pertinent issue to be the topic.
Thank you for the question. This is really like evolving research needs answer to this question. Like as we are evolving every day, there are several while we are submitting our journal, there is a question that we have to answer, that have you used any AI? So if you are using any chat GPT or any other AI platform, it is a strict and our ethical responsibility to get back and report that we have used this. However, I would suggest that use AI for building in an outline, for giving you ideas, but don't let AI kill your own innovation, your own style, your own way of doing a thing, because everyone has their own style, and that style makes you individualistically different from the other person. And if you have that footprint on a paper, that will make that paper more acceptable, because whenever you put anything in AI, that becomes very generic. But if you are just putting in for an idea or outline, you need not mention it in the while submitting the journal that I have used AI. But if you are copy pasted or if you are directly extracted, and for your information, there are 100 technologies which can also detect how humanized these contents are. There are zero GPT, which if you put a content, they will say how much you have copied from chat GPT or something like that. And they make the technology, they also make the other software which they can counterbalance it. Like you do plagiarism, there are Turnitin to check how much you have copied. There are AI tools, there are other tools which will detect how much artificially you have generated it. So I always say generate it, utilize it. Like we always had Google platforms to do search. Now our search style has changed a bit. we are using more of artificial intelligence. That's good, but that should not kill in our own intelligence, and we should utilize while drafting a research articles and scholarly paper. We should use our own brain. Yeah, thank you.
Oh, wow. Uh, I must admire your patience. I must admire your patience. So I'm now your second fan. Okay. So, okay. So I think we had a great training so far. Thank you, Dr. Parimala, for accepting our request so generously and staying for almost 1.5 hours and doing this training for our participants, global participants who come from more than 100 plus countries in the world, and they have been also patient. So thank you to the participants for staying on board so far and attending the session so energetically and for asking hundreds of questions. Okay, at the moment Dr. Parimala has answered 73 questions and open questions are 43 still, and I'm going to compile all of that and hassle her some more so that she responds to all of them. Okay, and so that all of you can be, your thirst for knowledge can be quenched. Okay, completely. Okay, so stay tuned for the next week, because next week we are going to have a training, advanced training on systematic review and meta-analysis, offered to you completely for free, for which people are charging more than 1,000, 2,000, 5,000 based on the nature and duration of the training. It's going to be a 2 hours intense training, so that's why we are calling it an advanced training. Okay, and it's going to be offered by the Global Consortium of Global Health Actors, Leaders and Thinkers and the Global Health Forum, two of the international agencies respected globally, and we have more than 1,800 members from all over the world, and we have 250 organization members from all over the world, and we are growing very fast and very rapidly. So I welcome and I would urge that you please visit our LinkedIn page and check us out, and we would be very happy to answer any question that you might have in order to join our global consortium. You may apply to join the global consortium. It's open right now, and Dr. Parimala is a member of it, and many other illustrious people, starting with the Director General of health systems in different countries, to professors, to even students. Okay, so we have lots of very senior people and also younger people as members, collaborators and contributors in our global consortium, and all of you are welcome to join it. I hope you enjoyed the today's training seminar workshop. It was hopefully useful to all of you, which is very clear in the question section, because the questions are still coming, which I'm noticing is increasing. Okay, and so I'm very happy with it. I'm very happy with the reception of the seminar, and I'm sure all of you have rated Dr. Parimala very highly. Okay, please rate her five star. Okay, I think she has left no stone unturned to make it a successful training program, to deliver you the very best of the quality of the training inputs. And so please send her a congratulatory email if you want to. That's something which will be a very good gesture. Okay, she has already shared her email ID, and please get in touch with us when you get your certificate. Once you receive your advanced training certificate, please share it on the LinkedIn, because if you share it on LinkedIn, tagging the Global Consortium of Global Health, then it helps you to increase your own visibility. Please remember, a lot of employers, potential employers, bosses, and many other people do notice these things, and they do take these things very seriously and very importantly. So please share them, because that helps you to build your own profile. Okay. So I'm not saying about advertisement for our agency, because we don't need any advertisement. We are growing daily. We are saying this for you youngsters especially. Please share this on LinkedIn, and do not forget to tag the Global Consortium of Global Health as well as Bangladesh Institute of Innovation for joining tonight's meeting and the advanced training program. And thank you, Dr. Parimala Mohanty, for all the generous time that you have offered and all the brilliant inputs that you had to share. And hand over to you, Faisal, now to do the rest. Thank you. Faisal, are you there?
Yeah, I would just say thank you to the organizer. You're doing commendable job, and thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to be here and just share something that I have learned through the years. And it was wonderful talking and answering to all the questions. And any doubt, anything, please drop in a mail or please get connected with Professor Maheshwar. We can be in touch. Yeah, thank you so much.
Sure. Faisal,
Thank
over to
you,
you.
Dr. Parimala Mohanty ma'am and Professor Maheshwar Satpathy sir. Today, Dr. Parimala ma'am had a flood of questions that she had to encounter, and she just encountered very
Questions are
patiently.
increasing. Questions are increasing.
She encountered the questions very patiently and a very uh, informative way. So I hope the participants have learned many things, as well as I also learned many of the things that I don't have some knowledge. So the session overall was very much interactive and engaging, and also very much thought-provoking. That would just, if we can use this learning in our practical way or in our research projects, then it might be very much effective for all of us. So I will just bring the conclusion of our today's session, uh, organized by the Global Health Forum and the Global Consortium of Global Health Actors, Leaders, and Thinkers, and Bangladesh Institute of Innovative Health Research. And we hope the ideas shared today will inspire all of us, uh, including the participants, to seek meaningful partnerships, meaningful collaborations in their real life research projects. And they will use these learnings in their research projects so that they can implement this learning to their real life actions. So let's keep learning, collaborating, and transforming global health together. Until next time, take care and good night.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. So we had a great time. Thank you, Parimala. I'll be in touch with you very soon. Okay. You may please excuse yourself and
Yeah.
retire for tonight and enjoy.